be better off sitting there.
I don't care, you tell me, because
What is that, Ashley? Passed out, what is that?
minutes. We didn't have them in time for the packet.
Mainly because
I'm gonna let them get the minutes out there and start.
it's the only
I've got a few.
decent social distance. You need a water, Mary? I know. Old one? Cold? Casey, walk out there and get you one. She just got
Oh, is this a, this is what we got for the Sunday.
She's got it.
I think there's 3 copies.
I would like to get on already.
So this is the sale of the timber in the industrial park. This is the money sent to us. And this is the money that
All right.
Well, we should have.
well, this is the money that was
County
paid to the
Commission,
industrial
now
park.
this water plant, Sheriff.
Thank you, thank you. Mr. Mayor, would you lead us in prayer, please?
Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this beautiful day, and we just ask you to be with us during this county commission meeting and doing the county's business. And we just ask and pray that everyone will be professional and courteous to one another. And we just ask you to help us to go through this meeting and make the right decisions for the citizens of Benton County. Thank you for all you do for us. I love you and I praise you, and I give you all the blessings. Amen.
Amen. Mr. Vicar, would you lead us in the pledge of allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good to see everybody back. All this time we've been off. Hope everything goes well and everybody's doing good. Thank you, thank you. You give a roll call, please.
Darrell Hicks,
Here.
Ronnie Hopper,
There.
Mary Powers, here, Angie Hearn, Don Patton,
Here.
Dana Ferguson, here, Kenneth Miller,
Here.
Rodney Preston,
Local.
Belinda White, here, Norman Frazier,
Here.
Gary Hart,
Here.
Sonny Hall,
Here.
Bill Melton,
Here.
Doug Vickers,
Here.
Michelle Hill,
Here.
Janet Pickens, here, Roseanne Ward,
Here.
Ward Plant,
Here. We have a quorum. Moves us into approving the agenda. Motion. Have a motion, Mr. Patton. Second by. You second it, Dana. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
No noes. Motion carries. Moves us to the citizen forum. I have one that is signed. If anybody else like to speak, they need to come forward. I have Miss Jeanette Holmes.
Hello.
Thank
my
you.
name is Jeanette Holmes. We bought our property about 4 years ago, moved here full-time 3 years ago. March 2nd, me and my husband watched the weather. The tornado was supposed to go around us. So we went to bed. Still emotional. A while later, my husband heard a noise, got up, turned on the light. I'm still laying in bed. I see a crack in my wall leaves, my roof leaves, my husband leaves. I'm holding onto the headboard, and I finally said, I'm done. So I let go and I agreed. It took our house, when the tornado came through, it took our 40 by 40 barn, came up, took our whole pine forest, took our house off the foundation, took our 80 by 100 pole building we had in a shed. We landed about 20 feet from where it took us off, took us up in the tornado, about 5 feet apart. We got up, started honking our horn, and Josh, our neighbor, came up and got us. And I have to thank everybody. I see a few faces here that came out to our property afterwards for about a week and a half. We have horses, goats, cows, cats, dogs, and when Ward Plans came to us and asked us about his RV so we could stay on our property, we were thrilled. We are absolutely thrilled. Insurance company was thrilled. There's no problem. So we could stay on our property, make sure nobody, because people were still coming up the driveway. We're on a dead end road. And people were still coming up our driveway. We wanted to make sure our stuff was still there, our animals are still there. So you have to understand when you go through a tornado, things affect you. The weather, the wind, sleeping at night. You don't know what's going to happen. And if it wasn't for our family, you're talking about South Carolina, Illinois, my sister-in-law from Texas, coming up to help us out, I don't even think I would still be here. We would rebuild. But then when I have to hear false allegations that the parties that are involved agree upon it, and when my insurance company is thrilled about something and they're willing to take care of it, there shouldn't be any problems with anyone. No one here. I shouldn't have to hear anything. That puts more stress on us. We're new to the community. We came from a little farm community when we were growing up. We come to another one. And I don't need false allegations going on. Time would be a lot better spent helping. I mean, I'm sure everybody here gets to go home to a nice, warm, cozy house. I'm home for over a year. And I have to put up with stuff going through town. It's just that I didn't hear from one person. I hear it from other people in the community. And I shouldn't have to do that. Time would be better spent if you help the people in the community. You know, yeah, we got help, and it made us feel real good. Because from our community, we were the ones to help everyone. We did auto repair. My husband was a fireman and a paramedic. So he went on all those calls. And for us to get help, it's amazing. And that is the main reason why I wanted to stay here. Because we felt the compassion for the community. But nobody should have to put up with this person saying this person, that person, this person. You're not here to do that. You're here to help us to do what's right. You know, a tornado to you guys, unless you've been through it, okay, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. No, it's going to be years for me. Years. My property goes a mile down into neighbors' yards. I haven't found my kitchen, my third bedroom. We don't have anything left. I don't have my kids' baby pictures, my baby rings, my wedding book. I have nothing left. The clothes I have on are for my daughter. I can't go to Nashville. The virus broke out. Now you got riots. You know, it would be nice to, you know, I see the sheriff, the mayor, Buck has come over, and Ward Plant calls us all the time to see how we're doing. Through all this, even a phone call would be nice. I mean, we get the RV, we go to the grocery store, there's no food. So if the tornado didn't kill me, I'll starve to death, you know? And now you got riots. I'm supposed to have back surgery. I can't go to Nashville. If Nashville isn't going to keep me safe, I feel safer in Hampton. Get a good hospital. have surgery here. But you need to start, instead of saying this and that, that's the main thing up here. Is because I love how the community came together and helped, but the backlash of the false allegations, I cannot stand. I will not stand for it. There is no reason, if we're happy, the insurance company's happy, for what Ward Plant offered us so we could stay on our property, there shouldn't be any problem. Nobody needs to say anything. If anything, if someone says something, it should be me or my husband. No one else. Keep to your business, help your community, and it would be nice if you helped your community more. You know, because I don't know what else to say. I'm just.
You've done very well, Mr. Dad. We thank you for you and Miss Roseanne, her daughter, as close as anybody I ever seen them just losing their life. The good Lord was looking over you that night some way for you to survive. When everything just leaves you and you got just like this desk here at the top and nothing else, so you wake up and I'm sure you're in your nightgown, whatever, 12, 1 o'clock at night, how you survived it, I do not know. The good Lord was
after you. Once you see
after
your loved one go through the roof of a house, you never want to see that again.
Good Lord was with you all. Roseanne, her daughter, I mean, they just a room from it, and it cleaned them out, you know, the kids, and it's just a miracle that happened that night.
It is. And I didn't get an alarm on my phone for a week later. That's when the weather notified us that we were going to have a tornado, and that was a week later.
But we thank you, and we're glad to have you as neighbors, and thank you so much. And y'all done a lot of work up there since that's happened. I noticed that coming in, your horses and your goats and things, and you got them back now. Your dogs, have dogs on and everything. So thank goodness you're blessed with your lives. That's the main thing.
Thank you. I just want everybody to work together and help your community.
Thank
And
you.
don't, because communities change. And that's one reason why we moved here. Because once you get other stuff involved, people think it's going to be better and everything. It's not better. It makes it worse. We came from a small farming town, 45 miles out of Chicago. It was small. We grew up there. Now, it's a suburb of Chicago. You don't want that to happen here.
That changes quick.
Yes, and you don't. So, use your energy for good, not bad, not trying to make someone else look bad. It does no good. And if the rioting and looting hasn't proved that, we're no better than anybody else. But just please stop. That's all I ask.
That's a good point. Thank you, Mr. Jeanette. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care of that young man back there. You want to bring him on up here, or you had him down the other? You want to bring him in the session? Mr. Ryan Hall, would you like to?
Commissioner.
Thank you all for having me tonight. I did want to go over some things with you. Lots changed in our world since I spoke to you last in March. At that point, we didn't know for sure what COVID-19 even was. So we definitely been through a lot since then. But I do have good news. Reappraisal is complete. We are done with it for another 5 years. So I may not be here, some of y'all may not be here, but Lord willing, if He tarries His coming, the state will be back in 2025. But we're done with it until then, right? So we're thankful for that. All of our neighbors, I know you probably remember this, all of our neighbors went through this very same process. Henry County, Carroll County, Decatur County, Humphreys County, Houston County, and of course us here in Benton County by the state, the reappraisal. So those change notices were mailed out. The informal hearing time was conducted where people called in and expressed, we checked on that for them. Our County Board of Equalization adjourned Friday. And so now we are to the what I consider probably the most important part of this process, and that is where we start preparing for our new tax rate. Now, the state law mandates that every county has to go through reappraisal. I think we all understand that. The state, it is against the state law for the state to raise tax revenue through the reappraisal. So, and I know I've spoken about this several times, but if appraisals go up, then our tax rate goes down. And what I'm here to do tonight is to give you the state certified tax rate. This rate was given to me last Friday by the State Board of Equalization. They are responsible for providing all counties that go through reappraisal with this new tax rate. This number's a good number, okay? I don't want you to think that they just dreamed this up out of the clear blue. This is their business, okay? This is what they do. They have to stand on this number. And this number, according to the State Board of Equalization, brings Benton County the same amount of tax revenue as 295 did. That's where we've been since 2015 when we had our last reappraisal. So the state says, okay, we're done. We've done our thing. Now it's time for you as the assessor to present this to your commissioners and your city aldermen. So what's our rate? What did the state say to bring in the same amount of revenue to our county as we had at 295? The official rate is $2.7274. 2.7274. Now that's what the budget people will need to use to key that in. In layman's terms, just how we all talk, is $2.73. So we went from a $2.95 tax rate to a new certified rate of $2.73. That's 22 cents less through the reappraisal process. Now, the state has also given, I'm going to Big Sandy tomorrow night, and I'm going to give them their new certified rate. I've already made their mayors in Camden and Big Sandy. Theirs dropped from 85 cents down to 81 cents. Okay, so that was a 4 cent. And then, of course, the city of Camden, they were at $1, and theirs dropped to 94 cents. That's a 6 cent decrease. Of course, the county had more of a decrease because our rate was higher. From what I've been told by the mayors of the city of Camden and the city of Big Sandy, they are prepared to accept this rate and to lock that rate in. Now, after I am completing my official responsibilities as your assessor tonight, I hand the baton to you as the commission. And it will be up to beginning with the budget committee at your next scheduled meeting, and then the budget committee will break off and bring that to you as the full commission. And it will be your decision whether to lock this rate in or to increase this rate. So, we're all clear as far as 273 does not undercut us as a county. 273 keeps us at the revenue in the county that we had at 295. And this commission and the city aldermen are the only government authorities that have the government entities that have the authority to raise this rate and essentially raise property taxes in the county. 273 is where we need to be. If you go with 274, that's a penny increase. If you stay at 295, that's a 22 cent increase. Okay? I want everybody to be clear on that. The citizens, the commissioners, I want you to be clear on that. Now, I I want to kind of step back for just a minute as the assessor, and I'm going to talk to you just as a citizen. And I want to talk to you about, in my opinion, why I think that this certified rate could really be a good thing for us. Number one, regardless of the particular situation with the parcel, whatever the state changed on a parcel, this new rate of $273 is the very best thing that property owner could get from you. Period. $273 is the best thing that you could do with this year, with the reappraisal year. This is the best thing that we could do for our property owners. Now, if that's not enough of a reason to try our best to do that, let me give you a second one. Let's think about new construction, new people moving into our county. When they look across the state of Tennessee at the property tax rates, and they look at Benton County, and we're down here in the low 270s, it's my opinion, I think that could influence people to come here. We're going to be down there, and when you consider, and a taxpayer, a potential person moving here is going to look at what their tax burden is. We'll be in the low 270s with no wheel tax, no special other taxes. I mean, this is going to position us, in my opinion, for some real growth. I went and measured Love's last week. They're going to be prorated for new construction on June 25th. But at this certified rate, I estimate our property tax on that one new construction project to be between $45,000 and $50,000 of new revenue next year. We get that here in Benton County. That's about, what, 2 cents right now at $50,000? I mean, can you imagine if we had another something up there at the interstate? Or a hotel or something like that? That's where we need to focus on growing revenue, is attracting new business and new construction. We want to be appealing for these companies to come here, right? And number 3, this is just a little rah-rah for you, but it's been 15 years since this has been accomplished. If our 3 government entities, the County Commission, the City of Camden, and the City of Big Sandy, come together this year and all accept the certified rate, you'll do something that no one before you has done in 15 years. That's something to put on your resume. You're like me, you're going to have to be reelected. That's something you can put on your resume. Now, as your assessor, I have now completed all of my official responsibilities to you. We're done with reappraisal. I now hand this over to you. And I ask you to please consider everything that we've talked about. Talk to the people in your district. I know reappraisal is confusing. I know it's a complicated process. But this certified rate from the state, I think it's the best thing for us this year. We're going to know where we stand with this rate. We're going to have a good foothold of where we're at. And then we take it a year at a time, right? We take it a year at a time. But we don't know what this COVID thing's going to do again. We don't know the impact that it's had on our small businesses here in town that's had to shut down. There's just a lot of uncertainties in our world right now. And I think that if we can do this and be positive and make this and accomplish this, I think it could be a real good thing for our county. I'm willing to answer any questions if anybody has any questions. If not, I'll turn. Yes, Mr.
Ryan, thank you for your conversation. The 22-cent change in the tax rate, what type of value does that reflect?
Now, the official assessment from the state board is now at $290,496,891. But like I said, just to keep it simple, according to the State Board of Equalization, this brings in, we're sitting at over $1 billion of total appraisal now in the county. Over $1 billion. It's actually, I can't remember the exact number, but it's over $1 billion now. But now, like I said, we're not shortchanging ourselves if we go with this. The state stands on this rate. They calculate it.
Understand. Thank you.
Anyone else? anyone from the citizens. I'm here to answer any questions from anyone. I want everyone to be clear on this. If all minds are settled, I'm going to hand it back over to this commission, Mr. Ward and our mayor. And as always, I'm here to serve. Anyone ever has any questions or you need my help in the assessor's office, I'm honored to do that for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan. Appreciate it. Line item 7, Commissioners Forum. Anyone would like to speak? Yes, Ms. Rochelle.
Yes, I'd like to address my first comment to Ms. Jeanette. I am the commissioner who questioned the arrangement with Chairman Plant. I want to apologize if I caused you any distress whatsoever. I had received a couple phone calls at the sheriff's office that a commissioner was taking advantage of a tornado victim. I questioned it within the county commission. I did not go public. I did not speak of it outside of that. I guess whoever called me spoke outside of that. Commissioner Plant set me straight, and I apologize to him for barking up the wrong tree. It is in my nature that if I think an elected official has done something wrong, I am going to ask questions. I'm going to make sure that no one has done anything wrong. But for any distress this caused you or Chairman Plant, I am truly sorry. I was just going on some bad information and trying to make sure that no one was taken advantage of. So again, I want to apologize, ma'am. And you also, Chairman.
And I accept your apology, and this is a good teaching for us all. Let's support one another and help each other before we throw the stones. Let's look at, before you do anything, if I've got a problem with Sonny Hall, I'm going to go to Sonny Hall and settle it and see if it's true. That's just a good motto for us all at this commission to learn. I accept it in fully, and thank you so much for your kindness of forgiving it. And saying that, let's just move on. Anybody else on the commissioner forum got anything like to speak up? Rocky, I can't believe you're going to sit out on this.
That's what I was thinking.
All right. Line item 8, County Mayor. You like to speak, sir?
Yeah, I'll address a few things. And I know tonight's meeting is an important meeting because we just received our official certified rate, and I'll have some comments about that. But first of all, I just want to say to Commissioner Hill, I mean, you know, we're kind of all guilty of getting bad information. I mean, there's a lot of what I call bad information spread throughout our community. A lot of, we can call it gossip, rumor, hearsay, whatever it is. And as leaders, we owe it to ourselves and to the public to do our due diligence. It's to find out whether information is bad or not. So this was a good learning lesson. You know, these are those things that we can put forth some efforts on our own part before we tend to jump the gun or before we tend to begin berating people on false information or making false accusations type things. So this was a good learning lesson for everybody. I'm glad Chairman Plant accepted the apology as well, and I think it's again, good learning lesson for us all. But I'm going to read my comments tonight because I know that this is on the official record. And I want to say thank you to Mr. Ryan Hall, our property assessor or our assessor of property, you know, for being informative throughout the entire property reassessment cycle. He has kept, I believe, the commissioners informed. He's kept the mayor's office informed and have been very proactive in that role, and also shows the value of the assessor's office to this county. But I've said before, since before I became your county mayor, that one of my primary goals when it came to taxes in our budget was to get to the truth. And to get to the truth of our numbers, which means we have to validate them and ensure that they are accurate. If we know the truth in our numbers, we can make better decisions in regards to taxes, our budgets, whether we need to raise taxes, cut taxes, or stay where we are. And it allows you, our decision makers, which also our department heads, to make more accurate assessments and plan effectively. I believe in the 2 budgets I have administered so far that we've done a great job getting to the truth. And I think those that remember last year's budget cycle, we began little by little tweaking and tweaking and tweaking and getting to that particular truth. Our budget committee has been a very engaged budget committee. We have a new financial advisor. She is in our audience tonight, Ms. Lori Brasher. I think she's done an excellent job at working her tail off to ensure that we also get to the truth. So whether it is the ugly or the pretty truth, I want you to be armed with accurate numbers to make your decisions. Our budget committee and our department heads, again, have worked harder and harder this year than they did last year during this budget planning cycle. I hope that this is how we will attack all future budget planning cycles. So when our assessor advises us at the certified rate, I think we should all do all that we can do to hit that mark. And I endorse staying with the certified rate. So the certified rate is our truth, and it will tell us if we're living within our means or not. My hope is that we could operate one fiscal cycle at the certified rate before we make a determination of whether higher taxes may be needed. We may have to tighten our belts this year to stay at the certified rate. But still, the certified rate is going to at least allow us to know, as a county government, where we stand financially. But still, understandably, there are those in our public that do not understand budget and taxes or how the economy impacts our financial ability to adequately provide for our citizens. And some scream tax increase without really having the slightest clue of how local governments financially operate. Labor, wages, goods and services, gasoline, national tariffs, all of those greatly impact our financial budget. What we plan for today may not be the same 9 months down the road. So I don't want to basically say that tax increases are not necessary in some cases. But what is an injustice to the citizens is raising taxes when you don't need to. And you won't know whether you need to until we get to that truth, that certified rate, living within our means. So I'm fond of this county commission. I think you've worked very hard. I think you've worked together, at least for 2 cycles. The fruits of your hard work will be seen over the next 2 budgets you preside over. So for those who attended tonight thinking that our county commission was raising taxes, as we saw all the fodder on Facebook and people running with misinformation, I sadly must inform you that you will be disappointed, because I don't believe our county commission has any intentions to do so. We are not a pro-tax county. In fact, compared to many other counties around Tennessee, we are or at least around Benton County, we are probably the only county that has actually held firm with our tax rate. I know multiple counties around us that raised taxes 22, 26, some 30 cents, and that was last year. And they're facing more tax increases this year. Y'all haven't raised taxes one time. So, but not only that, I believe we're probably, when you take out that we don't have a wheel tax, we might be one of the lowest tax impact counties in Tennessee. So our future may not always allow this luxury. And so long as you are informed and provided the truth in your data, the accuracy in this data, it allows you to make better decisions. I will stand behind and with our county commission every step of the way on your decisions. Our citizens should be proud of that, and I believe the majority of the citizens are. We will feel some impact going from $2.95 to $2.73. But I believe we can tighten those belts and we can weather through this for the upcoming year. So I want to also address some fiscal highlights. Mr. Hall emphasized the one, just adding Love's down the interstate is going to be a $50,000 positive impact on our county. And that's not including the sales taxes. That's just including the property tax. I believe outside of Walmart, and quite possibly they may compete with Walmart and be the biggest sales taxpayer in the county when it's all said and done. But we've added over $260,000 in uncollected taxes and on tap to bring in more. Those are decisions that you made as a county commission, bringing in that revenue analyst to come in here and find taxes that should have been paid all along and weren't. We brought in another $200,000 in cash for unclaimed property, which we'll hold in our reserves and draw interest from. We are scheduled to bring in roughly $200,000 in TRRD money from uncollected taxes once the state provides us an official ruling on that. You know, we've had a property tax sale that brought in $170,000 cash and also added over $500,000 in appraised taxable property. We just brought in $150,000 in timber sales. I've left the settlement documents on your desk. We have another property sale that we probably will be successful in doing this year that may bring in roughly around $75,000. So, you know, all of this is from money that prior administrations had missed, prior county commissions had missed. But y'all were proactive. You know, y'all allowed us to be able to operate and go after the money where it was not collected. So again, you know, for the naysayers that's out there saying property tax increases and kind of berating the county commission, I can tell it'd be a lot worse in a lot of other counties. I think they should be proud of the efforts that you have made. So also, I didn't mention that the Benton-Decatur Special Sewer District is finally, after 20 years, financially on its feet again, and will hopefully alleviate the county beginning probably the next budget of literally $500,000 in debt. And that did not happen. That happened under your watch. This is something that you should applaud yourselves for. I know Mr. Ward Plan is the chairman of that board. But again, just having that sewer district financially operate in the black was an accomplishment in itself. The fact that it may be able to pay the debt that this county took out to build that will be a huge win for our taxpayers. And I also want to remind the skeptics, you know, that complain about our purchase of the property of where the farmers market and agricultural complex is. All that was trading cash for real estate. We still have the value, okay? So we didn't go spend money that we didn't have and didn't make any negative impact on our budget whatsoever. So the bottom line is I haven't spent anything, and you haven't spent anything, that we haven't discussed, that we haven't appropriated, that we haven't put in the budget. And in fact, you are probably the one county commission that can claim that you probably brought in more tax revenues that had been missing over the prior years, and especially when you look at our sales tax revenues being up nearly over $200,000 compared to last year. This is the one county commission that's actually doing things right. So you should applaud yourself for that. So if this was a State of the County address, I could confidently say that never has our county been managed better. And I think we all need to work together and realize that we've done this as a team. We may have disagreed at times, but the citizens should be proud of all of your efforts. Now, on a couple of other notes, if you were looking at the news recently, the TRRD, Tennessee River Resort District Board, released 150,000 fish in Benton County waters a couple of weeks ago. They are scheduled to do this 2 more years in a row. There's about 7 Benton County creeks that were released out of 9. The TWRA released in the other 2 creeks. So I know that fish releases probably don't mean a lot, and maybe is as confusing as financing and budgets can be. But these fish will have a huge positive impact on our future tourism. So again, I applaud the Tennessee River Resort District Board for their efforts and moving the county forward as well. I've had some rumors about the duck blind drawing in Big Sandy and how TWRA plans to address that. Again, just like the Facebook fodder, people, you know, there will be no computer draw this year. So the rumors that are going around that the computer draw is going to be implemented by TWRA are false. And so that's a big impact on our community in Big Sandy. But I have called the TWRA over 3 times and I've been basically assured that there will be no computer drama. Our county sports complex. So while we were out with the COVID-19, it was closed to the public traffic, but we did extensive enhancements and upgrades to the field conditions as well as the scoreboards. The first softball tournament was conducted last weekend. It was a 2-day tournament, and I went out there at high noon, probably the worst of the heat, when everybody leaves. There were over 250 cars parked in that parking lot. Only 8 license plates reflected Benton County. So that could pretty much tell you that at high noon, at the worst time of day, we're literally 98% of cars were from out of town. And that means they've got to spend money here. That ballpark is a very valuable asset to Benton County when it comes to tourism. The timber that we sold, netting $152,000 off that property, will be reinvested into that sports complex. We will finish out a 5th ball field as well as construct a senior and junior level soccer fields for our Benton County youth. We will also see if we can basically channel some of that to the Patsy Cline Memorial Park. But our parks are money makers for our community, and we will pursue those over the next year if you okay the next budget. So I'll yield the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Has anybody got a question they'd like to bring for the mayor at this time? Good understanding there. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for letting us know. That moves us now to line item 9, approval of the minutes. Need a motion?
Okay.
Motion, Mr. Patton. Second, Mr. Dana. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those, motion carries. Line item 10, report of the public utility. Need a motion? Accept.
Motion.
Motion, Ms. Roseanne, Ms. Rochelle, excuse me, Roseanne. Kenneth Miller, seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No, ayes carried. Line item 11, resolution declaring an out-of-date obsolete typewriter in the mayor's office as surplus property and allowing property disposed per mayor discretion. Need a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Kenneth,
Second.
second by Mr. Patton. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any discussions? No discussions, motion carries. Line item 12, resolution declaring the uncollected debt owned by Holland Craig in the amount of $3,600 as an uncollected debt, writing the amount of Benton County books, writing it off, removing it as receivable with the balance coming from the unassigned fund balance within the county general funds. Need a motion?
What is,
Got questions?
yeah, what is this $3,600 for?
I'm gonna let the mayor explain that to her. I'm just asking.
We gotta have a motion and a second before we can do
Yeah, I
that.
asked for a motion. Anybody give me?
I'll make a motion.
Ms. Roseanne, motion, please second.
Second.
Ken, a second. All right, now. Go ahead, your question right there.
This was an embezzlement case with our animal shelter about 5 or 6 years ago. Holland Craig was prosecuted and was supposed to be paying restitution in the amount of $3,600 back to Benton County. She has left the state and we've not received a single penny back from her. So the comptroller's office suggests that we write it off the books.
And I
It's
would
not
also,
that no legal action could ever be taken towards her at any point in the future, but it does need to be cleaned off our books.
yeah, I was gonna say the same thing, that this was one thing the audit committee addressed, I believe back in 2016, where we made a recommendation on what we see if we get this case in the future. We probably should ask the court to not just give them 2 years to make restitution, that they should make periodic payments. So if they get behind early, we know to act. But by 2 years, I think it was after 2 years when we even got to it, and we're never gonna collect this money again. Doesn't mean we can't probably go after them legally, but this gets it off the books, and we've learned a lesson for the county.
Anything further? Not, all in favor say aye.
Is this not a roll call?
Russia,
vote?
it is a roll call, sorry, it's roll call, thank you.
Darrell Heath,
Yes.
Ronnie Hopper,
Yes.
Mary Powers,
Yes.
Angie Hearn. Yes. Don Patton. Yes. Anna Ferguson,
Yes.
Kent Miller,
Yes.
Rocky Preston.
Yes.
Leah Dyke. Norman Frazier,
Yes.
Terry Fur.
Yes.
Sunny Hall.
Yes.
Bill Melton,
Yes.
Doug Bickers.
Yes.
Michelle Hill,
Yes.
Janet Higgins,
Yes.
Roseanne Ward,
Yes.
Ward Plan.
Yes,
No one wants to change their vote?
motion carries. On item 13, resolution making both new appointments and reappointments to the Airport Board, Board of Public Utility, Industrial Board, and the Civil Service Board. Appointments. Appointments.
Motion. Brady.
Mr. Frazier, a motion. Patton, second. I'll have to read a minute. All in favor?
Wait, discussion?
Yes,
Discussion?
discussion. Go ahead.
I have a question. When these appointments come up, is there a reason that they can't be advertised to the public at large so that anyone that might have an interest in serving would have time to contact the mayor's office, make their interest known? And, you know, I mean, some of these are reappointments, but some are not. And it just seems that we would get more public input if we made the public aware.
It's the mayor's appointment on these appointments now. If it comes to commission, as commissioner's out and is filling his position, it would go to the public at that time, but it plainly states that the mayor appoints and approved by the commission at that time. I don't think you do advertise it. Would be
Well,
right.
there would be sometimes I would advertise and sometimes I won't. I do a lot of advertising. I always ask the citizens that if they are interested in serving in, on boards to come and see me and interview with me. I know Mr. Kenneth Tapley is one of those. He came and expressed his interest in serving on the audit committee. It's not uncommon for me to have people walk in. These are particular appointments that I would have made anyway. The airport board is complicated in itself, people that understand the airport's mission and what to do. And so these particular individuals, I think it's critical that we keep some continuity going with the airport. And then once one of those falls off, then I will probably do something. I will solicit the commission and get word out. Probably I got Mr. Tim Ty in here in the audience, raise your hand. And Mr. Tim Ty was somebody who walked into my office. I had never met him, didn't know him, walked in, said, I'm a new Benton County citizen and I would like to get involved. I interviewed him, I saw his resume. And now I call him a rocket scientist. I think he's pretty close. But when I say he's a rocket scientist, he's literally, he builds like engines, you know, rocket engines, airplane engines, aircraft engines. So I felt like his background was, I know something that Civil Service Board wants to pursue is trying to write a good policy, write a good handbook. It's very aged. I felt like his mind was just perfect for that. And I don't think this is something that he wants for his day job type degree. But if we can get a good year or two's efforts out of him, I'd be more than happy. And of course, he wants to stay his full term. That would even be great. But I do take walk-ins. So if you do meet someone, have them come see me. Have them come, you know, chat with me. And because I've always keep my little list and my little notes of people's, you know, strengths and where we can utilize them as a county.
I'd like to, Mr. Tim, would you come up, just give a brief who you are and what you've done, just to, so
Sure.
people know who you are. Come up to the microphone, please, sir.
Okay.
And thank you so much for coming up here.
No problem.
Dedicated to have you.
My name's Tim Ty. I moved here about a year and a half ago. I've been wanting to live here my whole life. Love hunting and fishing. Love the outdoors. Spent basically 40-something years in aerospace industry. making jet engines, making landing gear, making airplane wings. Retired at age 63, I'm 68 now. So I just love passing my knowledge on. I love helping out. My wife and I bought a house down on Birdsong Road, and we plan on living here the rest of our lives. And I just love helping out. I also help with the Tennessee Promise, mentoring the high school students. Did that last year, first year I was here. GE, that's one of the major places I worked when I was making jet engines. They use me to train young people because I grew up in a big family, and basically I had to learn everything by common sense. So that's the best way to learn, in my opinion. School of Hard Knocks. And I literally had people that were supervisors working with me that 2 and 3 years later was becoming CEOs, because I really understand how things work. And so when Brett and myself talked, and he grilled me, trust me, he didn't just come in there and talk about fishing. He wanted to know where I was coming from and where I was at. And I believe that this county is a great place to be. I love it here. I love the people here. I just want to help. So if anybody needs any help in any way, shape, or form, feel free to get a hold of me. Brett knows how to get a hold of me. I'm not going to give everybody one of my cards. This is just a volunteer thing for me that I want to do to help out, and that's it. Okay?
Tim, thank you so much. I'm glad we've got to know a little bit about you there.
Okay?
Get
Anybody
your
any
big fish.
questions before I sit down? No? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Proud to have you.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. I need a motion on, did we ever get a motion on, we never have we? Yeah. We did. Roll call vote, no, we don't need a roll call, just need roll call. All in favor? Say aye. Aye. No noes? Thank you, Angie. Motion carries. Line item 15, resolution to transfer funds in the amount of $4,000 in order to cover. Oh, I'm sorry, got ahead of myself. Resolution restricting the purchase of 5,000 or greater that goes through the mayor's office for financing be first presented to the appropriate standing committee. Need a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Dana. Need a second? Second by Janet. Discussion. Any discussion? Yes.
Are we looking at having to have approval by the committees prior to basically the mayor being able to write a check and pay a bill? If we have some heating and air conditioning work done on the courthouse, they present an invoice to him, and he says, if it's $5,100, I can't write you a check until the commission meets again next month, and then it's got to go through bookkeeping, then it's got to be mailed to you. I want to make sure we're not getting in a position where we're going to be hurting our contractors and vendors any either.
Committees don't give approval.
They won't.
I'm going to ask, normally you want to state why this is, I think you
The
just.
original intent was actually based off of an air conditioner, believe it or not. As chairman of property, I drove by the library, and I see an air conditioner going in. Now, me and the mayor's talked about that since then, but I kind of gotten tired of hearing about projects going on from the coffee table. People, citizens know more than the property committee does. So all this is for is we need to be informed as commissioners where the funds are going, okay? I don't want to find out from a citizen that we bought something or we just selling something even, okay? So this is not to restrict anybody, so we can label it as capital projects. I don't want to know how many paper towels we buy. That's been brought up, or light bills. This is capital projects, $5,000 or greater. We just need to be informed. Talk to the mayor's office about a little letter that can be put in our packets every month. That's really all that I believe we're looking for. Now, the other commissioners that are on it with me, they have plenty to say also, but that was the general purpose, is to be informed, not to restrict any department.
Would any other commissioner like to, yes, sir.
When the jail that we're in now was built, there was a planning committee. And the planning committee kept the county commission informed. It was more than one person evaluating what do we need to buy, where does it need to go, how much do we need to spend, who do we need to contract. I think a planning committee for some of these new projects would help alleviate a lot of the concerns about things just being done without anybody even knowing about it. You know, like the old health department. The mayor says, you know, well, it wouldn't be good to redo that because of issues, but has it been looked at? Is there a report on it? Just information so that commissioners feel like we've got a handle on what's going on. The cat room, for one. Property committee was not even aware the cat room was being done until it was halfway finished. So just things like that. I think it's communication and it's informing people.
Anybody else? Yes, Mr. Victor?
We're talking about a $5,000 limit, which seems low to me. I mean, if we're looking at the county highway department, for instance, and Buck Carter needs to make a purchase for equipment right there that he's going to be using on a regular basis. If he gets ready to pay for that out of his budget that's been approved, has he got to come up here and get approval before he writes a check above $5,000?
No.
Yep.
They're in a totally different thing.
This is not a $5,000 limit on his spending. This is just, we want to be informed anything over $5,000.
The language says all future purchases of $5,000 or greater through the mayor's office and all county departments. That's what the language says.
Ms. Roseanne, would you, I'd like to speak on this behalf. Would you take this podium for me, please? I want to let Mary, go ahead, Miss Mary.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reason why we
Go
do
ahead,
budgets, is to give the mayor and the departments money to spend, and then put the money in line items, and they can do with it whatever they want to. They can move it around. So I don't understand, maybe I'm not understanding this. I do understand the intent of this, but I really don't think it's fair to the mayor to have to come back and get approval if this is within his budget.
Mr. Vickers?
I just want to speak as far as looking at the highway department. We just got through purchasing a brand new facility. I think it's around $330,000, $340,000 land and equipment as far as Mac Terry's facility there is concerned. It's going to be absolutely one of the best equipped facilities probably in West Tennessee that we all can be very proud of. It's going to be better served for the citizens of Benton County. They're having to put a lot of new equipment in there, and I'll guarantee you, when you start looking at putting in tire equipment, you start putting in lifts, concrete renovations that's got to be made, that's going to be running more than $5,000. And I just feel like, since the Commissioner's talking about we're passing the budgets, telling them how much money they've got to work with, are we going to be tying people's hands that every time they have to make a purchase, they've got to come up here and talk to us about it?
It's like we're micromanaging.
Well, that's exactly right.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. Mr. Vickers, there's a difference in the highways budget and what Mr. Buck spends. He doesn't have to get it approved the budget committee. I think maybe he could come up and explain the difference in his purchasing and what the mayor purchases, or the mayor can explain that for us.
I'll have an explanation here in just a
Okay,
second.
then we're gonna recognize Mr. Plant.
Thank you, Ms. Rose. My theory is you hit it right on the spot when Mr. Fraser said the air conditioner going in the window in the library. Let's say we suppose we do restrict him like that. How long would them people sit there and wait nearly 2 months time the commission meets and other meet without air? He is budget certain dollars for the maintenance of our parks. He's not taking money out of your funds as such. You don't, when he takes his office, he is a financial and the seat taker of what we're doing. That's his job, to retain money. If he had to come back in here every month, and we don't talk about $10,000, but that restricts him so much. You know, if you're doing wrong, I say fire him or get him out. I'd be all for it. We get him missed over the books. but I don't cut the man's hand off. I mean, he's up here constantly, just as he said a while ago with the park. He spent several $1,000, but it had to be done. I mean, we got ball teams going, they run in here and they got something tore up. It's easy to spend $7,000, $8,000 on doing that. I don't think we should. When we make the budget, we approve the budget, and we give it to the mayor, them are his dollars to function on. Now, he generally I've been pretty well aware of what goes on in big expenditures. Just to take for the sheriff instance, it's an emergency comes up, and say he didn't realize that hot water heater was going to burst at time, and we've made a lot of pre-planning for it. What would have happened if you restricted and that hot water blowed up? He's got to fix it. I mean, it just puts him in a position of operating. I think we've got a mayor that's trying to budget and put money. I mean, he showed you tonight where he sold the property, spent hours and hours doing that. I don't think we need to restrict him in his finance at all. But if he's done something wrong, I want to know about it. But the last time we was here, I was here against the former mayor at that time, the $48,000 check he wrote. And then y'all was always, we asked him 4 or 5, never knew nothing about it. Now that's wrongdoing, I say. But when a man's doing right and he's keeping us functioning, I think that's what he's hard to do. We can't tie his hands for, 10 times I don't have money no more. And knowing I let you run your operation and it's not restrict you $5,000 for some of your expenditures, and then you'd have to throw them away a month later to do it. It's just hard to do. I'm just telling you, to run what he runs, a school or the health department, senior citizen, the air conditioner, the 2 hours run out. How does he do that and not make him people suffer? So the money, I don't think, if we catch him cheating, I say run him off. I'll be the first one to vote for that. But I just the way I feel about it. Anyway, I'm going to rest my time. Thank you.
Chairman.
Yes, Rocky, President?
I'm going to bring everybody's attention to Resolution 13. Resolution 13, in the amount of $6,000 be appropriated from the unassigned fund balance to pay for the community development partners.
We're not on 13.
This is resolution, I know, but
He's bringing
You're
up
making
discussion.
reference.
I'm still talking about Resolution 4. I'm asking you to bring your attention to the 13th resolution. I'm going to ask him a question. Can somebody, is this not what you're wanting the mayor to do? He's asking for $6,000. Does the mayor have permission? Are y'all telling me he's got permission that he could have spent this $6,000 without coming to us and asking us for it? He's asking us for it right here in this resolution. There's 5 or 6 makers of this resolution. Can any of y'all answer my question, please?
This particular resolution is notifying the commission that this transaction is taking place, correct? This resolution is indicating to this commission that this transaction is taking place, correct? That's all we want.
Okay. Now, what you're asking for, he has done in Resolution 13?
Yeah, he's informed us of that transaction.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
But he's informed you of that transaction because there is not $6,000 already in the current budget to be expended. So it's an appropriation. Therefore, it takes the legislative body to do a budget amendment. Now, you all elect your county mayor. Don't care who sits in that seat. The county mayor is your chief financial officer. When he is given a budget, like our county buildings, the library, HVAC, do we or do we not have a county maintenance personnel? We do.
Okay.
Mr. Greg Pfeiffer. So just like last week, he come to me and he said, Ashley, and he come to Brett and said, the air conditioning for the ag office is not working. So what do you think, what action should be taken there? Should we not take action to replace that HVAC as long as it is in the budget and it is under the bid threshold of $9,999 when your county mayor has the funds and manages county building budget and he has the funds for maintenance and repair? Yes, he can. That is his authority. And I understand the intent of this resolution. All it comes down to is you guys want communication. perfectly fine and justified. This resolution was drafted incorrectly. It lacks detail. It's very vague. And you shouldn't have put a $5,000 limit, period. Because you say you want communication on projects, like I brought that example to you the other day. What if we were doing a lighting upgrade or electrical upgrade that had to be done, and it's $2,000? It's still a project to a county building that should go to the property committee and make you all aware, hey, we just had this come up, these lights need to be redone. Your maintenance personnel should be coming and doing monthly or quarterly reports to the property committee. And I suggest that the mayor does do a monthly progress report to put in your packets, giving you updates as to any projects, whether it's $1,500 or if it's $9,999. That way you all are aware in your packets what he's doing with property, and then in your committee, you can review it and hit him with your questions and answers.
If I may have the floor.
Yes, you may.
This is a classic example, first of all, of understanding the roles. Okay? You appropriated the money for capital projects when you passed the budget. We went to the budget committee last year telling them that we had roughly 4, 5, 6 units to be replaced over the course of years. So you were prepared for that when you appropriated the money. I don't believe there's a more communicatively mayor than myself. I mean, y'all have to tell me to shut up sometimes, but you do not lack for information. Now, you may have missed a property meeting. You may have missed a commission meeting. But you also, the responsibility is also on your shoulders. It's not on mine all the time. You should come into my office and engage me and ask me what's going on. You have that responsibility to your constituents just as much as I would have the responsibility to inform you. So I attend all the property meetings, the budget meetings. We have regular commission meetings. I'm probably the most open mayor that you've had, I guess, since you've been a commissioner. I tell you everything I'm going to do, but I'm going to stay within the roles of my authority. And my authority is to have the discretion to go buy a $7,000 HVAC unit, a $9,000 whatever it is, a $6,000 vehicle. You know, and those are things that you would be informed of after the fact, not before the fact. The before the fact came when the money was appropriated. We had to make a stance then of telling you what we wanted to do with that money. And you know, Mr. Greg Pfeiffer, he attends the property meetings. He's there to ask questions to just as much as I am. We give regular updates, and I think you had missed a couple of property meetings back to back. You know, you were very busy. I think you were in South Carolina. So don't throw it on me, because this is directly geared at the mayor's office. It is directly geared to me. So our highway is just as responsible for informing the public or the commissioner. Our schools would be just as responsible of informing the school board. You know, so this is the fact that I have to come and ask for something that's 5,001 cents before I actually go and do it. I think that's outside of our scope and duties, and CTAS has a clear definition of what your chief financial officer does. In fact, CTAS and the Association of County Mayors and the Tennessee County Services Administration or Association is actually lobbying to have it increase from $10,000 to $25,000 so that there's not micromanagement of every expenditure. I think we do a good case at informing. The fact that there might have been cross signals at one time, hey, that's going to happen all the time. But just come to my office, sit down with me, and that goes for any county commissioner sitting here. Sit down with me, ask me what's going on. There are some of you county commissioners that are very good at it. But if you're not coming in there and asking me, and you're trying to basically legislate my duties, That is micromanagement. I believe that's stepping outside the lane of your responsibilities as a county commissioner. And again, if I wasn't so communicating on the first place, I would say, hey, I could do a better job at that. But there's usually things that I don't inform you of. That addition to the animal shelter, we had discussed that. Now, it might have been an animal shelter board. It might have been a property committee board. It might have been sometime. But that was for money that wasn't appropriated. That was for money left to us by the Tutura estate. And it was specifically for capital improvements or for programs. So we stayed within the confines of what that money was left to the county for. And again, an HVAC unit, you know, to use that, I mean, there's people that buy vehicles in other departments, and they don't inform you of that one bit. They just go and do it. But they go and do it because it was allocated to them in the budget. So again, we can all improve on communication, but it's not all on me. Sometimes the county commission has to be more engaged in this process. Come into my office, come to the committee meetings and ask questions. I've given y'all the solution to this stuff. You already have the solution recommended to you. It's called a centralized purchasing, payroll, and accounting system. I've been promoting that for 3 years. You can pass the 1957 Act, the 1981 Act, or a hybrid called a private act of those. That is your solution to this right here. The county mayor's office can't stop progress. I mean, we can do a report, we can talk, but we have to make decisions. And we make them within our legal authority. But I'll give you a better one than that. The fact that you're so offended that I didn't inform you of a HVAC unit going on at the library. I mean, we had to get the money to begin with before we ever would have started that project. But the pass a required balanced budget for all departments. I'm amazed that we're over $1 million in one department. We're over $1.5 million in another department. And you want to complain about maybe a $7,200 HVAC unit. If you really want to do the citizens a favor, pass a mandatory balanced budget for all departments. Then you'll be making tremendous progress. That and the centralized purchasing, payroll, and accounting act. Those two right there will solve all your financial problems. I yield the floor.
I'd like to recognize Mr. Hicks.
Yeah, I just got a question, or I might have two. Are you going to leave the wordage the way it is on this resolution?
It can be amended however anybody sees fit as part of the resolution.
I don't agree with the way it's wrote up.
Okay.
But I'm not.
I don't either.
I got the floor if you don't mind. Oh, wait your turn. I'm not going to make suggestions on how to reword it, but if we don't reword it to where it's basically just him giving us a report and taking the money out of it, I would like my name removed off of it, because we can't do the money thing like that. Not on every little thing.
Mr. Patton, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm just saying, I don't think we need to be restricting the mayor's duties that much, because it'd be a big hindrance to the county.
Ms. Rosen.
And I like the report idea. I mean, honestly, we do need.
I agree with the report idea.
And I think we need them in law enforcement. I think the sheriff could probably look at law enforcement providing property reports, budget reports. We can improve in those.
Because if you look at the sheriff's budget, his budget gets nitpicked to death.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And also, just to, throw this out there, this may be more as a reminder for you all and educating the citizens, but our committees, our standing committees, you do not approve anything. Correct. It does not matter what resolution comes before you for consideration. A standing committee does not approve. And if you need more clarification on that, contact CTAS. committees either recommend or do not recommend to the full legislative body.
Mr. Frazier?
So, kind of got an agreement going on amongst ourselves here that this isn't totally the right way to do this. We also got an agreement out of this that, we need it put in writing and sent to us in a packet or some type of.
I agree with that.
Well, just so you know, my goal has been met with that one statement, okay? So I have no problem pulling this, but there is 7 other people. Or pull this resolution or table it.
Pull it.
And each one needs to, however you do that, I have no problem with pulling it.
I'll
just
call your name.
had
Okay,
my
if you
name
wanna pull it,
removed off
say
of it.
pull it or table it.
So I don't have a dog in the race anymore.
Why don't we just remove it?
Mr. Frazier, what would you like to do?
I don't know what I can do. Can I remove it?
You can pull it.
All right, I make a motion
table
to
it.
pull it.
I second that.
Okay. Do all the other sponsors on this agree? Don't have any no's that sponsored it? Okay, then I think it's, everybody agrees to table it.
No,
Pull
he pulled it.
Pull it, I'm sorry.
Pay attention.
Okay,
Where's Ward?
we're gonna take, roll call or voice?
I do roll call.
Okay, that's
Chairman.
more important, yeah.
Point of information, Chairman.
Okay.
You say it's gonna be pulled, what does pull it mean?
Just
We don't need to
do away with it.
Okay.
Do away with it completely.
Thank you.
The ones that, sponsored it say pull it, so we don't have to do a roll call, we just have to
No,
pull
just
it.
pull it, it's done.
It's done,
Then I'll rule that this resolution is pulled.
yeah, that's all you have to do.
Move on to the next one, and I'll step down and let Mr. Clark take over again. Thank you.
Can we make a motion for a 5-minute recess?
Second it.
We have a motion and a second for a 5-minute recess. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm not complaining.
Oh, you just had a claim with them.
I just had a.
did I give you a treat? Or did I give you a treat?
No, honey. Gal, and here I am kind of losing weight, you bring out that cat. Thank you.
You are welcome.
How y'all doing? Y'all,
Good.
did you go out on pontoon?
We went out and put it in the water just to see, make sure that the motor was okay, but we got choppy and it looked like it was gonna storm,
Are
so.
you youngins still down here?
They're coming this Wednesday, so they'll be here all weekend.
I told Ronnie to go holler, I might bring a boat. I bought it by and then put it in the water. It's a used boat, but make it back to
Our
work.
pontoon is so old, decrepit, but it works. We don't give a darn. Where were those people from?
They're from up north.
I know, not far from where we're from.
They
That's-
live, that's where the tornado hit.
I was gonna talk to them if we had a break and see where they lived up north.
They're great people. But nowhere, what they say, nowhere, I believe they said something.
I think it was like 40 miles from Chicago. Well, we were 60 miles from Chicago, up by Rockford. So I just wondered, they probably, if they were up there when we had our tornado, they probably knew about it too.
I say they're great people. I got their number, you ought to call them, they'd love to talk to you, just meet people.
Well, I'll get that from you. Don't let me forget.
They're great people.
You want another one? I'm telling you. I haven't made them yet, because I eat them all.
You can never get it back. It's like doing that thing for kids. You can never get it back. I mean, that's the way I feel. You know, Ashley and I spent how much he's done. He has that right. Somebody to do that. I know. Oh, yeah, that's right. I mean, that's it was point blank. He's spending out every single penny. And we're buying stuff. We're buying and they're all they're gonna do is go dormant and go back to home away. We're overheating, you know. He's got plenty of money.
How in the world we gonna
Good job, Lord.
let a budget get out of whack and what to pay officers and one thing up?
Do what now?
Needing this kind of money to 27,000 for deputies is needed.
Oh, yeah.
It needs 11,000 for objects not in use.
Hey, when we take a recess, are we on the air?
Sergeant's 15,000.
driving. You ever get up?
Everybody back?
I still think so.
Back to recession, everybody's ready, okay? Questions?
I want to combine some. You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to combine 5 through 10, 11.
That's resolution number,
Yeah, that's resolution number.
5 through 11.
So that would be
Line item 15,
15
15, 17,
all the way
18,
to
21.
21.
I'll second that.
21.
No, 22. 12 through 12.
To 12?
Yes,
That'd
through
be-
12.
That'd be number 22 then.
Okay, all the way through 22 then.
22. Okay. Yes, ma'am, we're combining line item 15, line item 22.
Resolutions 5 through 12.
We're back
I
in
make a
order.
motion to combine
I
them.
have a motion by Ms. Dana to combine 15, line item 15 to line item 22. I need a second.
Second.
Norman Fraser, second.
Yeah.
Any questions? If not, we'll have roll call, let's see.
I'm sorry,
Yeah, there's 2 roll calls, we can't, there's 3.
Ward.
Yes, ma'am.
You actually, yeah, you cannot combine all those data.
Yeah, I've got 3 of them as roll call.
Because they're payroll line items.
But they're just transferring from one line to the other line.
You're transferring into payroll line items though, so it does need to be a roll call vote for those. I would do those transfers for payrolls individually because they need to be roll call.
We could do them all, or do a roll call on each one of them if you wanted to keep it all in.
Let's just do a roll call on the payroll.
Just do a roll call on each one of them, ain't gonna hurt a thing. I'll call each one
No,
of them back.
that's gonna take forever.
Okay, let's,
You've got 4 roll calls involved in that right there.
Resolution 6, 7, and 8 should be individual.
all right, then we'll combine 9 through 11.
Through 12.
9 through 12. Yeah.
See, I probably couldn't do it.
Okay, here we go, we're going back to line item 15. We'll get it. Resolution to transfer funds in the amount of $4,000 in order to cover any unforeseen expense in the county coroner medical examiner's budget for the remaining of the fiscal year. Need a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Vicker,
Second.
second by Sonny Hall. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes, carried, those, ayes, Ms. Angie, thank you. Line item 16, resolution to transfer funds in the amount of $5,700 within the sheriff jail budget for payroll line items. Need a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr.
Second.
Second by Vickers. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor say aye.
Roll call vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. Roll call. Here we are again. Miss Wanda, would you give a roll call, please?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Idiot, y'all.
Discussion.
Darryl Hicks,
Yes.
Ronnie Hopper.
Yes.
Mary Powers.
Yes.
Angie Hearn,
Yes.
Don Patton,
Yes.
Dana Ferguson,
Yes.
Kenneth Miller,
Yes.
Roger Preston.
Yes.
Leah Dyke. Yes. Norman Fraser.
Yes.
Gary Gard.
Yes.
Sonny Hall.
Yes.
Bill Melton.
Yes.
Doug Bickers.
Yes.
Cheryl Hill.
Yes.
Janet Higgins. Yes. Roseanne Ward.
Yes.
Ward Plant.
Yes.
Anyone wishing to change their vote?
Motion carries. Line item 17, resolution to transfer funds in the amount of $40,500 within the sheriff's budget for payroll line. Need a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Ms. Dana.
Second.
Second, Ms. Roseanne. Any discussion? No discussion, all in favor, or roll call?
Roll call.
Darryl Hicks,
Yes.
Ronnie Hopper,
Yes.
Mary Keller,
Yes.
Angie Hearn,
Yes.
John Patton,
Yes.
Dana Ferguson.
Yes.
Kenneth Miller.
Yeah.
Roger Preston.
Yes.
Leah Dyke. Norman Frazier.
Yes.
Gary Carter.
Yes.
John Hall.
Yes.
Bill Melton.
Yes.
Doug Bickers.
Yes.
Michelle Hill.
Yes.
Janet Higgins.
Yes.
Roseanne Ward.
Yes.
Ward Plan.
Yes.
Anyone wish to change their vote?
Motion carried. Line item 18, resolution to transfer funds in the amount of $890 within the county trustee, county clerk, general session judge, chancery court, and juvenile budget in order to ensure sufficient funds for the retirement, reholding the last pay period of the fiscal year.
Motion.
Motion, Ms. Dana.
Second.
Second by Ms. Hicks. Any discussion? If not, roll call.
Darryl Hicks.
Yes.
Ronnie Hopper.
Yes.
Mary Keller.
Yes.
Angie Hearn. Don Patton.
Yes.
Dana Ferguson.
Yes.
Kenneth Miller.
Yes.
Roger Preston.
Yes.
Leah Dyke. Yes. Norman Frazier.
Yes.
Gary Carr.
Yes.
Sonny Hall.
Yes.
Bill Melton.
Yes.
Doug Vickers.
Yes.
Michelle Hill.
Yes.
Janet Higgins.
Yes.
Roseanne Ward.
Yes.
Ward Plan.
Yes.
Anyone wish to change their vote?
Motion carries. Now, did you want to combine? Did I hear somebody say combine?
Yes, we're gonna combine 9, 10, 11,
Don't forget 12.
12.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Again.
Combining line item 19 through 22, is that right?
Yes.
All in, need a motion.
I made the motion.
got- made the
we
motion,
got a
got a second.
Yeah.
Now we have to vote.
Vote on it. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes, ayes carried. Aye, thank you, Miss Angie. Move to line item 23.
No, motion to
Oh, I'm
approve
sorry.
as
Motion
combined.
approved. All right, give me the motion.
Motion.
Ms. Dana.
Second.
Second, Mr. Darrell Hicks. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, ayes carried. Thank you, Ms. Angie. Line item 23, resolution appropriating funds in the amount of $6,000 from the unassigned fund balance within the Fund 172 Community Development Industrial Park in order to pay the invoice for service rendered by the Community Development Partner LLC on assistance and administration of the 2019 GDBG grant.
Motion.
Second.
Motion, Ms. Dana.
Second.
Kenny. Any discussion?
What is community development partner?
That's you.
They're kind of the grant writer, administrator, outfit. So they manage it all the way through.
That's where they get the money, right?
All right.
Management, grant. Have a roll call.
Darryl Hicks.
Yes.
Ronnie Hopper.
Yes.
Mary Powers.
Yes.
Angie Hearn. Don Patton.
Yes.
Dana Ferguson.
Yes.
Kenneth Miller.
Yeah.
Roger Preston.
Yes.
Leah Dyke. Yes. Norman Frazier.
I'm gonna pass, but I got a question.
Question.
We're dealing with the number 13 resolution, correct? And it says $6,000 on this paper, and this paper says $3,000.
Read your resolution.
I'm trying.
One is a current invoice, and one will be expected for the month of June.
Thank you very much. I'm just missing.
Guinea pound dog.
I'll vote yes.
Oop, oop.
Gary Carr.
Yes.
Sonny Hall.
Yes.
Bill Melton.
Yes.
Doug Bickers.
Yes.
Michelle Hill.
Yes.
Janet Higgins.
Yes.
Roseanne Ward.
Yes.
Ward Plan.
Yes.
Anyone wish to change their vote?
Motion carries. Thank you.
Motion adjourned.
Move to line item 24.
Did you forget?
I have 4 individuals for the appointed for notary. Linda Sue Meldon, Merlin H. England, Donna Carol Cook, and April N. Cole. Motion. Darrell Hicks.
Second.
Kenneth Miller. Any discussion? No discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes carried. Thank you, Ms. Etchie. Line item 25, any other business? Yes, miss, go ahead.
I just want to say that, last week at the property committee meeting, Karen Hudson was there from the sports complex, and she gave us an update on everything that was going on out there. And I just want to thank her and the board and all the people, I can't name all of them, that she mentioned to me that worked out there and helped her, but I've realized that's really a big responsibility, and it takes a lot of work and a lot of supporters, and I just want to thank them. And I also want to say that I want to thank Mayor Lashley for putting that money from the sale of the timber into the park so that we can upgrade. And like you said, we're going to get a 5th ball field and a soccer field, and I just want to say that that's something that I'm proud of.
Roseanne, that's something I think we all be proud of. That park is amazing to go out there to see what happens. The people that come from out of town, what it brings. It's amazing.
Question, Mayor, on this expansion and upgrade of the ballpark for the soccer fields and stuff, is there going to be any grant money involved in this to?
You know, and first of all, to address what, Commissioner Ward said about the value that the Girls Softball Association does. We don't have a parks department, you know what I mean? We budget for a parks department, but we really don't have the boots on the ground to kind of do what we need to do. And I know there was a lot of confusion and misunderstanding in years past as to why are we doing this with the park, why are we spending that much with the park. But then the question is, what happens if we don't have someone out there doing that at the park? We're faced with having to hire permanent payroll type items. And so, as you understand the park dynamic, they do a tremendous job. But probably the biggest impact that the people don't see is the tourism that park is. I mean, outside of a bass fishing event that would bring, 200 boats to the water, I'm not sure there's one single event for a day or an event that brings so many out of towners. I mean, Fiddlers, the Big Sandy Spring Festival, it's that big. I mean, it brings in a lot of money. So we should really be supportive and I think applaud all the efforts that they do. Now, when it comes to the timber,
let's do congratulate her or a good job or something and have it sent to each one of the people.
okay, well, I'll do that. Like a proclamation, maybe? You'll do that?
Yeah. Something like that. Even, I think they all need to be attaboy.
And I've got a couple of proclamations up to thank people. I was going to wait till either July. Once we got the budget passes, I was going to have a proclamation tonight, where we bring them in.
Mr. Hopper?
I just want to remind everybody, let's don't forget Big Sandy's a town too, so. I know you're spending a lot of money and it's all benefiting Camden, but it's not really, we need to think about Big Sandy once in a while.
And Holiday.
Where's that?
That's,
To get back.
that's up north.
Yeah. And the one thing is, Camden is where the county seat is. And, by default, a lot of times our county complex is located here. And so, we're working on that, Commissioner Hopper. But getting back, this is how we leverage money. This is a good example of how we leverage money. First of all, I don't know if we could have taken that money and actually appropriated it somewhere else because we received that park from a large grant, and there is a lot of restrictions to that grant. If we ever do not fund that ballpark and it gets into like the ADA part, if we fail to properly upkeep that park, the state can come back on us, you know. So my thinking was, let's appropriate all the timber money and be safe and just put it into a capital account. And we'll figure it out later on as to whether y'all want to move that money or something if we have some surplus. But with $150,000 cash, we can match that with grant, normally 3-to-1 grants or a 90-10 grant, at worst a 50-50 grant. So $150,000 is going to get the county $300,000 in work minimal, but possibly literally $900,000 worth of work if we leverage it towards the right grants. So we're going to pursue those. I think the opening window for these are probably in October or November. And we're going to just go out there and grab as much as we can, but we're not going to have to spend $1 more than that $150,000 that y'all have appropriated to the capital account. So, you know, that's how you leverage money. And I know a lot of the public, they'll hear, my goodness, the mayor's gone, he's spending $300,000 on that, he's spending $400,000, $100,000. And I understand that can be intimidating, it can be confusing, but normally I'm spending money that was out there that we normally would not have got. I'm leveraging our financial standing to its highest capacity. So.
But remember, if we were not 3-star, we would have to pay back more. So being 3-star helps the county out.
And we just got
that's true.
We just got that, yeah.
Well, a lot of people don't know
Motion
when
to
that grant money for that ballpark was initially built. If it's not maintained and kept up, the state can come back and request that grant. Now, I've never heard of it, but they've got the right to do that.
And that's the same thing with the airport grants. We get a lot of airport grants from the FAA. I think we've gotten over $725,000 in funding for that airport. That didn't cost us a penny. But if we do not meet the standards of the FAA, then they technically can make us pay it all back, you know.
Gerald Parrish is the park director, and I'll assure you, he checks these parks, he makes a drive-through, I've seen it. He's actually said if he finds one just well, we're not doing it, they make us pay for everything we built. Go ahead, Kenny.
Motion to adjourn.
Second it.
Second.
Motion and
I
second.
wanted to do the motion to adjourn.
We'll let you do it next time.
Oh, sure.